Hello, what's up, good people? Now we are talking about three worst businesses that you can start in this 2023. There is a reality that is going out there, and I bet you have seen it. All right. One thing that you find that not only in Kenya but the entire globe is experiencing what we call the recession. All right. You will find that people are, drawing down what we call the purchasing power. People are not willing to spend more money, and if they are spending more money, then they are spending the money towards only those things that we call them the must-have. Like I always say, things in life are classified into three. We have what we call the must have, the good to have, and the nice to have. So when you realize that is something called the recession, people are not willing to spend more money on other things like the luxuries and what have you. So people are concentrating on the things that sustain their lives, like the rent, like the food, the shelter, and the clothing. Those are the things that people are focusing on. And by the way, sometimes you even realize they're not even focusing about the clothing. They have now narrowed down to what we call the shelter and the food. That's where people are right now because we're experiencing that global. But now, what does that tell you in terms of an investment? Say you would have your cash there and you'd like to start a business. So whatever the businesses that I'm going to share with you, the three of them, does not mean that they cannot be able to be sustained. I stand corrected. But what I can say is this: if you would like to start some kind of a business, then you should think second, or rather we should call it, you think twice, so that because you don't get yourself in a situation whereby you realize like, oh, things aren't moving, or what might be going on. So it's always good to listen to the ground and the surroundings, what exactly is happening out there. So all right, but before we do that, as always, take 1 second. Just down below there is a button on your right. There is a button in black, is written subscribe. Hit that button. Then on your left there is another one, I like hit those two buttons, and guess what you do? Because I know you're asking yourself, what's the importance of that? Just if you can just ignore and watch this video, I mean, after all, you won't know. Yeah, I would know, but guess what you'll do? If you do exactly that, you'll be notified when I upload a new video. So you better do it. All right, so let's get to today's business. What are these three businesses that, while I wouldn't advise somebody to start them, but again, I'm not saying that they cannot succeed, but I wouldn't advise you to start these businesses. All right. And the business number one, it's about travel agency. All right. People right now, as we speak, they aren't really willing to spend their money on things to do with the traveling and something of sort. They are willing to, scale down the, in economics, there's something we call the marginal propensity to save. When you realize you don't have more money, and then you, like, let's say when you realize you have less money, then you tend to spend less of it. Then it means that company that is producing more, like, let's say cooking flour or something, or sort of cooking oil. All right. So if there are less people, or let's say producing like iron sheets or something, so if there are less people who are buying, then it means the production goes down. And if production goes down, then it means that company doesn't need a lot of workers. Then what do you call it, retrenching the workers and something of so there are more crises and more crises. So if there are no people spending more, then it means the company cuts down its operation. Then it realizes that having more employees, it's a liability. Then it cuts down the number of employees. Then it means that now we have more people who do not even have money, not only willing not to spend, but also with no money. And then that means that's how we go down. We go to a recession, and whereby we usually have what we call a national contraction of the economy, or in terms of the GDP. Okay, fine. I know that might be a bit complicated, but what I mean is this: there's something that you cannot be able to do. For example, I said the travel industry or travel agency. Be very careful when you're starting this business, because right now, as we speak, people aren't really willing to go out there and have fun and enjoy themselves. Right now, I had some news in Kenya from the mainstream media that there is an influx, or there is an increase of the external or international tourists into Kenya. Don't let that get confused you or confuse you. What I mean by that is that those people who are coming into Kenya, right now in Kenya we're experiencing summer, and those who are coming in their countries are experiencing what we call the winter. So they're coming here, of course, to shelter themselves from the frost bites and whatever, and all those kind of things. But internally, because in most cases, those who sustain the travel agency in Kenya or in any country is usually the local market. In most cases, I'm not saying that entirely. In most cases, they are the local whatever enterprise or something of sort. All right. The second business that I wouldn't advise you to start as of now is in this 2023, and has been having a lot of things, is the Uber or taxi business. This business has been having a lot of crisis. A lot of people are crying and saying like, I don't even know what to do. Things aren't going on well. There's some strikes. There's some whatever. I mean, as we speak right now, Uber has been experiencing a lot of things. And by the way, this is not to de-advertise any business. I respect all the business. That's my disclaimer. What I'm saying is this is a bit challenge when you're starting that business, because there is a lot of people who are flocking into the business. And the moment you flock into the business, there is saturation. Then it means you have more people that offering the same service than those people who actually buy those services. And that means that you might spend like the entire day without something that can be able to sustain yourself. All right, so that's what I mean by saying, be careful when you're starting this business. And if you have to, then maybe you can do it in a different way. Which one for now I do not know, but if I get, then I'll share with you. Now that's the importance of why I told you should subscribe. All right, so anyway, that is exactly what I can say. And the last but not the least, in terms of the businesses that I wouldn't advise you to start as of now, is all about what we call the selling of these luxury products or something of sort. Because right now, just like I said, these things are classified into three: the good, to have, the nice, and the good, the must, the good, and the nice. All right, so right now people aren't really focusing on buying the nice to have. But guess what, there is like a pinch of salt I would advise you take from me. Right now, when people aren't willing to buy those luxuries and whatever, if you have money, because I know maybe you're watching this video and you're saying, okay, fine. Okay, people don't have money. Okay, you know very well you have your money. I know you cannot share it, but I know you do. So if this is actually one of the best time that you can actually buy those things. This is the best time you can buy those real estate. This is the best time you can buy those stocks. This is the best time you can actually buy those properties and what have you. And the rich knows exactly that, and that's why there is always this proverb that says that during a time like this, the rich become richer and the poor becomes poorer. It is true, because the poor tend to reserve that what they have little, they don't want to spend it, but the poor now sees an opportunity. Hey, you know what, nobody want to buy a piece of land. That means right now as we speak, or a piece of property, then that means right now as we speak, then that means that thing has been offered or is being offered at a discount. So that is exactly how they do it, and that's how they outsmart the poor and move to the next level. But yeah, I know you say that they are not smart, they only use their money. That's very true as well. But what I can advise is this: shun from selling these overpriced products like high-end coffees. Maybe let's say you want to start a business, avoid these high-end coffees. Excuse me, avoid these high-end coffees or something of sort, because that one can actually get yourself into troubles or problems, because people aren't willing to actually spend more money towards that specific things. Let's say you want to start up a small business, let's say in an estate somewhere. Just say that what we know people, they are resonating with them, and what majority can be able to afford. Because if you put out something out there that they cannot be able to afford, then it means you only sit with your product there and nobody is showing up to buy, because of you facing the recession. So you should be very careful when you're starting either of those businesses. All right. So for now, what can I say? It's, if you out there and you'd like to get your my booklets about business, so grab my copy and get my number from the description of this specific video. I'll pin it down there on the comment section as well, so you get a copy and then study on what you can actually do. I also have, by the way, I have a booklet about financial management, how you can be able to plan yourself and manage your money. You can get a copy. It's only $250 and you get started. All right. So anyway, if you manage to reach this video up to this particular point, guess what I'm requesting is only hit those two subscription, the subscribe button and also the like button. Give this video a thumbs up, and if you're in a position to, you can share it out there. And guess what? For now, it's a goodbye. See you there.